if you are not 10 out of 10 on board, excited, thrilled with the prospect of being a parent, do not have children. Because even if you are 10 out of 10 excited, there are still going to be times where you are going to regret this more than any decision you've ever made.
Sure.
But at least you're 10 out of 10 excited, and you've got like a baseline level of possible success. But if you're like,
Okay.
I'm only a 7 on this, know that you'll be even more disappointed. So like, this isn't, oh, I'm gonna foster a puppy for a little while. This isn't like, oh, I'm gonna take up smoking. I'm gonna smoke some brisket in the backyard. You know how long it takes to smoke brisket? Long time.
My love, I got to tell you, I disagree.
It takes like 8 hours. That's a long time.
Yeah, it takes long to smoke brisket. I disagree.
I'm not done. You think 8 hours is a long time? For what? Piece of meat? Bro, a kid takes like 20 years. Now you may go.
I was not 10 out of 10 excited. Were you 10 out of 10 excited?
Yes.
You didn't have to carry her.
Welcome to Playing House, the podcast about keeping your relationship sexy and secure. I am the down bad Kolter Bouchard.
Why?
Have you seen yourself?
And I'm Dominique Bouchard, and we're a real couple having real conversations, inviting you in as our third.
And I am really running out of room in my pants. On today's episode, we talk about our journey into parenthood, stories, emotions, and all, the fears and challenges of being a parent and the resilience we've tried to show. And we'll share some trips.
Hopefully.
Some tips and tricks for the unsure parents who want a new minimum 18-year commitment, but I actually think that that's probably closer to 25. First, let's check in Mrs. Bouchard. God damn. Looking like a box of Purdy's chocolates. If you don't live in Canada, you'll need to look that up. How you doing?
I'm good. I wanted to match the set today.
Yeah.
So I brought out the purple.
Damn.
I'm doing well.
Let's see the set.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, subscribe.
You see the back set too?
No.
Okay.
No, we're not getting up. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. I got a hot wife, man. I wish I had a That's So Raven vision of the future when I was in high school, just thinking it would be the worst life ever.
Yikes.
And it's not. It's the best life ever.
But do you want to unpack that? Like, were
No,
you depressed as a child?
Peter, you and I went to high school together. I've known Peter since the first grade. And
Shout out to
high
Peter.
school, you had a good time in high school, yeah?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I can't complain.
I can and
I complain
routinely
plenty.
do.
Yeah.
High school.
High school was
sucked.
terrible.
Yeah.
Yikes.
High school was the worst.
We even go to the same high school, and it was
It was
awful.
brutal. I think I would have gotten eaten alive at your high school.
I think so. I absolutely
Yeah.
think so. Yeah. We did not have any chill. We were.
Would you have given me a chance?
I didn't give many. I didn't even. No. I love you today.
Yeah.
I love you.
Great.
You're my all.
Amazing.
Back then, I didn't even have white friends, bro. I'm
You still
sorry. You're my friend.
Okay, one. Token white friend.
There you go.
Sick.
How's it feel?
Pound it.
Mm.
Pound it.
So you're having a good week.
What a great week. Having a great week. You are just a vision.
You have nothing
Damn.
to say.
Can I suck on your toes a little?
No, you
Shoot.
rolled your ankle.
I did roll my ankle.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
I thought it would be funny to have it like up, like propped up,
I know.
like suspended from the ceiling.
No.
And you thought that would not be funny.
Absolute nonsense. Well, it
Yeah.
seems fine. So,
Well, it's a lot better. It's had a couple of days to heal.
weren't you supposed to change your shoes? They're there. Are they to be
Can we
changed
can we see
into?
my shoes on camera?
Not at all.
No. Okay. we're
Can you
fine.
see my shoes on camera?
I don't think so.
Put them up here.
Yeah, I put these on for a reason.
Show 'em
We're
off,
gonna.
'cause-
Oof.
Ooh.
Oh my god,
No, you were good before. I'm crossing.
it's gonna sit like this.
Yeah, this is great.
Now you got to stay like that.
Oh god.
Let's just get these things off you for a sec, I think.
Do you like up? No, they're like chained to my foot. That's why. Okay, we got them in the shop. We got them. We're good. We're good. Can I sit properly now? Ab workout. Okay.
Leaving me with a sonar over here. Okay. Well, good week. Rolled the ankle.
Rolled the ankle. You want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, love my child so much. And it's so great that this episode is all about parenting.
Woo!
Because this was a real lesson in
Patience.
taking a breath.
Yes.
We went out to pick up some sandwiches. And our 4-year-old daughter, her name's Nia. Great.
Gotta love her.
You have to legally, right?
You don't
Gotta
have
take care of her.
You don't legally have to love her. You have to legally take care of her. Absolutely.
Here's the thing: telling her to stop cutting me off in the parking lot. 'Cause I'm carrying some things.
Oh, she does that. Yeah.
Telling her to like walk properly.
Yeah.
She's not doing that.
What was she doing?
She was just bobbing and weaving.
For fun or just because that's how she walks?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I'm like, Nia, move, and she's not, and she cuts me off, and I'm trying to avoid her because I am 185 pounds, and I'm 6'1", and she's very little. She's neither of those, and my foot was between the sidewalk and the curb, and I twisted and fell, and I heard ripping, and I was wearing shorts, so wasn't the shorts, it was soft tissue. And Peter took me to the doctor's the next day, and our doctor took a look, and he was like, "Hey, no fracture.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't break it. It's just soft tissue." And then he just talked about like taking business class flights home to Cameroon.
Gotta love that guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Great guy.
great.
Wrote me a couple of scripts while I was there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I gotta give you my perspective because I haven't shared yet with
I
you
don't think I asked for
what
it, but
happened on my
I
end.
don't think I
because
need that.
I went into the sandwich shop
Yeah.
to get the sandwiches, and then y'all walked in behind me to go to the washroom, and whatever. Y'all do whatever you need to do while I get our sandwiches. So I come back to the car first, and I'm sitting in the passenger princess seat of my own vehicle, and I'll dive into the jalapeno Cheetos. I'm enjoying my life. I'm scrolling through the TikTok. Next thing I just hear, and I'm like, what the hell was that? I hear something bang into the front of my car, and I look up and I'm seeing only Nia.
Yeah.
I'm like, where the hell is Kolter?
What was the look on her face?
It all happened so quickly. Like she just looked more shocked than anything.
Like a devilish grin?
No, she, I just see Nia. I'm like, who the hell's you're adults?
Yeah.
And I look a little further down the hood, and you are lying on the ground. I was like, oh Lord. So then I had to get out. So that was scary for everyone, I believe.
Oh, I'm sorry that you had to get out, and then afterwards stayed in the passenger seat, made me drive home.
Tell the truth.
I've got a pretty high pain tolerance.
Tell the truth.
I've got a pretty high pain tolerance. You didn't drive home. Or sorry, you didn't make me drive home. You drove home.
Okay, yeah.
I've got a very high pain tolerance.
Yeah,
I've had
yeah.
a stem cell transplant. I've had a bone marrow aspiration. Look that up. Look that up. You want to know pain?
Don't look that up.
And I wasn't crying, but I was like dry heaving, I guess. Just like,
Literally that sound.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
like a couple of 75-year-olds banging.
Ew. Okay. How loud
need
is
that
this?
mental picture.
Yes, you did.
Thank you.
How's your ankle doing? That's what I thought.
It's doing great.
So if the worst thing you have to deal with is me impersonating a couple of 75-year-olds with their loose gray
Okay,
skin
so on today's episode,
dragging against each other, count yourself lucky. In great.
but you're okay.
Otherwise, yeah, doing great. Doing great. Just soft tissue damage. Nothing to the bone.
And then you're
nothing
getting
to
on
the
a plane this
bone.
weekend.
Getting on a plane. Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Woo!
Yeah, pretty excited for that.
So by the time you watch this, you'll be back.
Yeah.
You'll have for like weeks by then. but
Or maybe not.
maybe not.
Maybe
What?
something in Alaska
What the
eats
hell?
me. I don't know. Something in Alaska kills me. Peter, could you do me a favor? Could you please Google Alaska serial killers for me?
Can you not do that?
And just let me know, like, how many there have been. Apparently, I don't know if you knew this, at any given time, there are dozens of active serial killers that the government has not caught. So. But how you doing? How were you doing?
I was excited to talk about parenthood and raising my daughter in society. Yeah.
Not in this one.
What? Oh my god. Yeah, let's get into today's topic. You want to kick this off?
Yeah, and Peter, you cut in whenever you have the number, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
Let's talk about deciding to become parents, because as much as here's the thing, you know,
boy.
people will often ask like, "Hey, mom and dad, was I planned?" And I mean, everything.
Why would I ask that?
Everything according to God's plan is what I always say. And also, were we actively trying? Were we like, "Oh my God, let's let the cream pie festival begin"?
Oh my god.
No.
Peter, please interrupt whenever you're ready with your fun news.
Yeah, so there's not much news going on. There's one really well-known one. We won't give him any publicity.
Let's
here.
not.
Yeah. Cute though?
Depends on your definition of cute.
Who
I'm
would
sure
who would
everybody
play
has
him
their
in a
boo.
movie?
I think that's putting somebody on blast. So
Okay.
Evan.
Evan Peters. Because
It's always Evan Peters. It's always Evan
him.
Peters. The guy who played Dahmer, American Horror Story.
Okay.
So anyway, was it a conscious choice to like today we're gonna try to begin a pregnancy? No, but were we absolutely tickled pink when we saw the lines on the pregnancy? It's 2 lines when you're pregnant, right?
2.
When we saw the lines on the pregnancy test, absolutely.
So that summer we were gonna go on our first trip to Grenada finally with my family.
Yes,
It was gonna be a bit of like a family reunion, and all my sisters are going. My first time there, my other sister's first time there, your
Sure.
first time there.
Yes.
My nephew was gonna. It was gonna be this big family event.
What a jam! All staying in the same
Cousins,
Airbnb.
aunts. It was very, very, very exciting. And it was a big year for us. Like you had been at your radio job on that station for I think
almost
a
a year.
at
Almost
that
a
point.
year,
Exactly. Doing really well. You loved your co-host at the time.
Still love that original co-host.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite people on earth.
We love Meredith.
Meredith
Shout out to
Geddes.
Meredith.
Oh my, Meredith. Anyway, well, Meredith gets a whole episode.
Okay.
That's
No,
not
she
today.
doesn't, but
Mare's the best. Mare's the best.
Bear's great, but she doesn't get a whole episode. So yeah, you were doing really well on that job. I was happy with my job. I had been there probably a year at that point. I don't know. Anyways, at that time I was very happy with that job.
Sure.
And we were just in the best place we'd been up to that point financially, and I think emotionally too. We'd had a few rough years before that.
We had a nice
Living
apartment.
in Dubai. Before that, I was just checking because I hit the knob. I didn't want to mash up the TV because it's real. And we're like, you know what? Maybe it's time. Maybe I think we're in our late 20s at the point, 26, 20, 27?
27.
27. We're like, it's time. I think we're ready to have a kid.
Yeah.
And we both agreed. And it was very much like an intentional conversation that we were having. And
We're like, if it happens, it happens.
yeah.
You know?
And since we were going to head to Grenada in August, we're like, when we get back that December, let's try to have a kid.
Yeah.
And we're like, how adults are we?
Look at us making decisions. And we also thought, nobody gets pregnant the first time.
Let's just
Nobody.
Let's celebrate
Let's have a
our
little
adults. We made such an adult decision. Let's pop some champagne. Let's pop panties. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's all it took, yo.
So how long had you been off birth control at that point?
I hadn't been on birth control since. So I have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. PCOS, other people, sure. I have that, and with that come very heavy periods, very inconsistent periods, or no period at all. And so for probably, I want to say since for like 3 years, I'd been on a very heavy.
Seasonique.
We're gonna call out brands. I wasn't gonna call them out, but yeah, it's a very, very heavy birth control that doesn't have like
Breaks.
a break. Exactly. So that really messed up my hormones. And so finally I decided when I got back to Canada, I'm not going to be on this anymore. So we'd been home for 2 years at that point.
Almost 3.
Yeah. So I'd been off the pill for 3 years.
Sure.
And that break off of the pill is all it took.
And were we using condoms at the time?
I don't like condoms.
No, you hate them.
At all.
What a party girl, by the way.
What a party girl.
We're not doing condoms. We're not doing condoms over
We
here.
do coconut oil, and the internet did not like that.
Why?
People were like, don't use coconut oil. It's terrible for your vaginal flora. I'm not completely sure what that is.
And the fauna?
I was like,
Can we look up what that is, please? I did not do so.
You boys using coconut oil in your lovemaking?
No, I don't.
No? What are you using, Peter?
KY something.
KY?
KY something.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Is it the heated one? Because I actually hate the
No,
heated
no,
Oh, the
one.
fire and ice one?
Oh,
No, those are burnt.
terrible.
I'm telling you, gun oil, H2O.
Mm.
That's a great one.
It's like water.
Yeah, like it's my favorite one.
Oh, good for
Yeah.
you. Okay.
Like coconut oil is great.
Okay.
The gun oil is like there's no friction.
Good.
You're just like, oh my God, I'm gonna like cartoonishly like Like you slip,
Where's
you're
this
like,
going?
"Whoop, whoop, 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 whoop," and then you like shoot through the window because there's nothing. There's no friction.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. I figured out, because of course there's always like TikTok comments that quickly just need to always be negative, be like, oh no, you shouldn't use that. From these couple articles, doctors technically say that yes, you can use coconut oil
Okay.
safely as lubricant.
Yeah.
However, people who may be more prone to yeast infections or similar things should be more cautious on using it. So
Thought it smelled like a Panera bread in here.
I
Am I
will
right?
be. What?
yeah, what?
From here, I have a yeast infection.
This is new.
It's not true. I
How would you know?
Sure. Keep reading, please.
But yeah, so it seems like you can technically use it and continue to use it, but again, be aware that some people might get yeast infections. But I looked at the comments too, and these people were making it sound like it was like satanic and devilish to even think of using it as lube.
Yeah. No.
I was like,
What's the problem?
Just
that's what I
some
was
we're
questioning
suggesting
too.
that it can throw off, like, I don't know if it's your pH balance or your, somebody said vaginal flora. I don't know what vaginal flora is. I've never heard that term before.
Like the bacteria?
Sure. Listen, it's I've been using it as my sole lube for 10 years.
With toys and stuff too?
Yeah.
Wow.
And have never had an issue, but just because I haven't had an issue does not mean that issues don't exist.
I think with silicone.
Silicone,
whatever that.
silicone.
With
Yeah, you
those
should
toys,
not.
water-based.
Yeah, that's why I paused, because I don't really use lube with my toys.
Okay.
Yeah,
But you need it with
that's
me.
my
Interesting.
business. Interesting indeed. If you use condoms, of course, don't use coconut oil. 'Cause
Water-based.
That's gonna break down the silicone.
Sure.
All condoms aren't
Latex.
silicone, but latex. Thank you. Okay, so that's the story of how we decided to become parents.
Yeah, it like most people, takes you a while, right? Us, we made the decision, and the universe was like, "Well, I guess you're ready."
Yeah.
So here you go.
And we'd had a few pregnancy scares before then.
Yeah.
But the time it finally happened was the time we
The
were finally
scariest of
ready.
all, some might say.
Okay, cool.
And then when we found out Dominique was pregnant, and we think
Yeah.
we've talked about this on the show before, we had tickets to one of the worst movies that I've ever seen called...
No, we're not going to do that. It was an independent film. We're not going to mock this man.
How do we get better? Unless
Oh my gosh.
unless we take
We're not
feedback,
going to do it.
right?
He was so excited. Kolter reached out to him and asked him for tickets to see the viewing.
I paid for tickets.
Oh, I thought he sent it to you.
No, I paid for tickets.
Okay, well, don't mock the man.
I saw the poster at a mall. It looked like a fun, like, oh, we'll go and we'll laugh at it a little bit.
Oh my God.
It was 3 hours long,
It was 3 hours long.
and it was made by someone who was very proud of their
Absolutely.
heritage.
He makes a cameo.
Invited like a representative, like the governor general of that country, in the audience.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this person must have been ashamed.
Oh my God. Do you think he bought
Why, you're
his
dragging
ticket?
me all the way to Canada for this? Oh my God. So pretty rough. And then afterwards, you took a pregnancy test.
Mm-hmm.
And we picked up a pregnancy test and also Popeyes, my first time
Yes.
eating Popeyes.
Okay.
And then we went back to the apartment. You peed on it.
That's
And
how
then we
pregnancy
celebrated
tests
and
work.
we had some Popeyes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great segue into some of the joys that have come with the decision and with just becoming parents, period.
Yeah, I've been to Popeyes a bunch since. That's
Okay.
been great. I'd say I impress myself once in a while.
Okay.
I'm just like, maybe I'm like not a terrible parent. Those moments when I'm like, I can see myself continuing some generational trauma. And then I go, not today, Satan. And I stop doing that thing.
Like what?
Like, listen, we're all trying our best, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things like apologizing to my child if I know that I'm in the wrong. Things like, because you know better, you do better, right? Things like recognizing when I'm in a bad mood and saying,
Yeah.
hey, Nia, I just need a
I'm not
minute.
in the space. Yeah.
Not in the space, and encouraging her to take time when she's having a rough go
Mm-hmm.
and respecting that when she needs it.
Yeah. Giving her autonomy as well.
Yeah.
So respecting that she needs time, that she doesn't know how to handle her feelings all the time, just like we as adults don't always know how to handle our feelings.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And like watching you parent our child, absolutely, has been like, it's been healing for me. It's one thing to, it's one thing to marry your best friend and create another human who's half you and half your best friend.
Yeah.
Like, that's dope. And like, that's cool and all, but it's a whole nother level to then watch that person love your child as much as you do and pour so much of themselves into your child, and like raising her together, especially. Like I was raised by a single mom, so seeing that my daughter gets such love and dedication from her father has been healing for my inner child.
Wow.
And all the things that you just mentioned about like recognizing things in yourselves and really actively working to fix those things, it encourages me to do the same. Oh my God, what the hell? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's also just really cool, like, it's cool parenting alongside you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Why is it cool?
Just to see you, like, just to see you accept the feedback that I give you and go, like, this man he knows what he's doing.
You know what? We'll talk about that. But that is a huge part of parenting. It's
United
picking your
front.
yeah, you gotta be a united front, even in moments where you don't want to be. So let's talk about some of those fears that we were facing.
About not uniting on things?
About becoming parents.
Religion.
Oh, okay.
You got it. I don't. And
Yeah.
I want our child to like be armed with as much information as possible.
Yeah.
And how do you do, like, your mom takes her to church sometimes. Your mom loves taking her to church.
She hasn't taken her in a long, like over a year, no? In a while.
Yeah.
Because you and I had a conversation.
Yeah.
You explained that you felt uncomfortable with
Some of the stuff she was coming home and saying.
yeah, or like some of the books and like the worksheets and stuff that she had, and it was like, this is not necessarily what we want to teach her. If she decides that that's what she wants to like accept into her life on her own, that's one thing. But she's very young, and
She's very impressionable.
exactly everything is an objective truth right now. So
And white Jesus, folks, what are we doing? You know, white Jesus? No.
only black Jesus.
There's only one,
Okay,
Jesus.
I agree.
And he is black.
Okay.
Yes.
Some of my fears.
Didn't ask.
Okay, I know you weren't going to, so I had to move along. You immediately insisted that I seek therapy when we found out that I was pregnant. Did you want to speak to that?
Because I was also seeking therapy.
Yeah, you had been in therapy for a while, or was that when I had found out?
When we found out you were pregnant,
Okay.
That's when I was like, it's time for me to book an appointment.
Okay, and why?
Fear of being a parent, I guess. And also I knew the pandemic was coming.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I had secret information from the lab leak in Wuhan. So I don't know if they've established that that's the reason or not. I try not to think about the pandemic anymore.
Good.
Yeah. That was a rough time.
Yeah.
And I knew I was going to get cancer and probably had it at
why
that
did
point.
you decide to go
Because
to
I wanted to
therapy?
make sure that I did a good job from the very beginning. And I wanted to make sure that I did a good job being a partner to you, especially during pregnancy. And I wanted to make sure that I was being a good partner to myself during pregnancy.
Yeah, yeah.
And like had enough time to just make sure I had all of my, together.
Okay.
So.
And why did you feel that it was necessary for you to encourage me to go as well?
Because I think both of our brains are broken, and I think that I still encourage you to go. And I think that it's a good thing to go and talk to somebody.
That being said, your brain does not need to be broken for you to seek therapy.
Sure.
There are many reasons for someone to want mental health support,
Yeah.
not just a broken brain or
Every
broken
brain's-
pussy.
Every brain's a little broken.
But that being said, postpartum depression does absolutely run in my family. I didn't know it was something that was... Is it hereditary? Is that the word
Does
I'm
it
looking
skip
for?
a generation or skip a member or something? Because
Ooh.
yeah.
Yeah. So I anticipated that postpartum depression was going to be something that I'd have to battle with. And it was. And then postpartum anxiety was a new fun little thing I learned about.
And there's another one. Postpartum psychosis.
Right.
Want to talk about that?
Go ahead.
Maybe another episode.
You can talk about it.
I just want to give it its full hour.
If you mentioned it,
It's
go mention what
due.
you're thinking.
That was like certainly tough for me. I can't imagine how tough that was for you. You thought our child was a demon at one point.
I did not think she was a demon. Okay, maybe. So postpartum depression comes in waves. It can last up to like the first year after you give birth, or
Like it
after
can
having your
start?
child. No, it can pop up anytime between
Really?
having like birthing the child and a year after, not to be conflated with I think they're called baby blues, and that can happen randomly, and that's just like overwhelming like sadness that comes over you. And sometimes that came over me, like breastfeeding, for example. Sometimes I just get these waves of sadness, thinking that there's no purpose in life anymore, and then I'd be done. What?
And what's going to happen to my titties after this?
Right? And then I'd be done breastfeeding, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Like, it's very, very odd. And then postpartum anxiety, shouldn't come as a surprise, because I also had her in February of 2020, the week after, we know it was announced,
Yeah.
the pandemic. So I was anxious about everything. I was anxious that like the air was going to seep through our window in our apartment and kill us. Like, I was just afraid of everything.
We were washing Doritos, and also where we lived, which was right by Dundas Square, downtown Toronto, the video billboards, because nobody was buying advertising anymore. It was just the city of Toronto or the government of Ontario or whatever that had these giant, and like these video screens are like 20 feet tall.
They were giant.
And it was like, stay inside, wash your hands.
Yeah, like those are the only things that would play on loop all day long. And we lived near a bunch of hospitals, and so the banging of the pans and all that fun stuff. But it was just it was a weird time for all of us, or every single one of us. But like there was the level of anxiety that came in addition to the postpartum depression
Was rich.
was rich.
Was rich.
And then postpartum psychosis. Well, that's just, I medically can't define what that is, but I do know from the experience, it's feeling like not having enough sleep. I'm going to try to describe it. Like not having enough sleep and feeling like someone is coming to kill you. Like just being convinced that you are in danger. The child is putting you in danger. Your partner is putting you in danger. You are not safe. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was fun. But that lasted. Thank God for therapy, because being able to access that. Number one, I don't know that it gave me the tools that I needed to prepare for postpartum depression. Like, I don't know that one can be prepared for overwhelming sadness. But at least having someone to speak through during those times, especially moments where like you're tired, you're not getting sleep either. We both have a baby, a newborn baby. Being able to talk through those moments was just so impactful for me.
And it's weird to so I didn't meet my therapist in person for 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're at home, and also pandemic and cancer and whatever, I couldn't go see him. And to finally meet in person for the first time was kind of weird. Have you ever met your therapist in person?
None of that. My first therapist that I met when I was pregnant, so before the pandemic, so that's the only one I ever sat in an office with, and I did not like her.
Was that a white lady?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I asked her the question, I'm like, I don't know. I was raised with, in my family, we hit to punish children. That's what I was raised with, and I don't know how to approach this raising my child. And she's like, she kind of gave me a look that said, I will call Children's Aid right now.
Yeah.
If I feel the need to.
Yeah.
So it's not feeling safe with her either to discuss some of my questions and explore what parenthood would be for me. But,
We don't hit our child.
we do not. Let's make that very clear. But also, I
clear
didn't
on
need
that.
that judgment from my therapist as I was trying to unpack some things from my childhood and trying to understand what I wanted to bring into my child's life.
Especially at $2.25 an hour, maybe dial up the kindness a little bit, right? Let's earn that money. Alaska rhodiola. And I just noticed that those toes of yours and your fingernails are rhodiola green.
On brand always.
Was that intentional?
Of
The
course.
answer is yes.
Ask me questions. Don't wait for the answers. Absolutely. And let me tell you something. Here are a few reasons you should listen to me.
Whoa.
I'm fancy. I own one of these fancy cups.
It has a backpack.
Silence. I own one of these fancy cups. This is a sign of someone who has their life together. You know what I have in this fancy cup?
Rudeness.
Alaska rhodiola. Energy, mental clarity, high libido, stamina,
Let me see some of that high libido.
confidence. Haven't I already silenced you, sir?
You're gonna be leaving some tire tracks.
Let me tell you
on me.
what you should leave him and get you some Alaska rhodiola for your fancy cup. Use Play 15. Where are you headed?
You're good on your own.
You know what? Use Play 15 at akroseroot.com. And you too can be a fancy woman like me. Can you see the shot, guys? We seen this? Excellent. Sir, why are you interrupting my shot again?
We've got to finish the episode.
Play 15 at akroseroot.com. Fix your life. Alaska rhodiola. Woman owned.
Can I you?
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I was wondering, is there any fears that both of you guys share as a parent, like regarding raising Nia, or fears that you had when she was younger that are maybe gone now?
My fear is that she would go to therapy one day and talk about me.
Really? That's a fear of yours?
Yeah, like in a negative way. And she will, right? Because like we all make mistakes.
Absolutely.
And we all lean into it sometimes when we should just back off and apologize. You know, when we're just like, no, I'm right. And even though the child knows that they're right and is right, you don't back down. And also, it's the worst when you tell someone. And let me phrase this in a different way. My concern is that I will break my brain. And when our child is older and goes, hey, like, I didn't like this when you and or mom did this when I was little. And I go, that never happened. Or I go, well, sorry for being the worst father ever.
Yeah.
Because you see that in movies and TV a lot. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that. You know?
Right.
Do you see that in movies and TV a lot too?
I see it in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's hard to talk about fears without bringing up the fact that you had cancer. And the fact that it happened when she was a newborn.
It's not hereditary. It's not hereditary.
Well, obviously
cancer.
that was a huge fear.
Of mine, yeah.
Of both of ours. And then the fear of, like, maybe Kolter won't see her grow up. That was a huge fear that maybe I'll have to raise her on my own and teach her who her dad was. Like, that was a huge fear of mine, too.
And sing that Reba song about a single mom works 2 jobs. Her husband died because his blood was bad.
Yes.
I had blood cancer.
Right.
But still here. A note on that real quick about the not living to raise my own child.
Mm-hmm.
I, for a long time, it was impossible for me to picture what my daughter was going to look like older.
Yeah.
And it was impossible to imagine the two of us interacting older. And I did not think that I would make it to her starting kindergarten. And in September, she is starting kindergarten. That's right.
Hey.
Get those snaps.
Get them snaps going. So that's huge. So I guess, yeah, a fear when it comes to my child was just like not being there,
Of course.
just being a memory.
Of course.
But a positive would have been, you're perfect. Oh, my dad died.
Yeah,
my
your
dad died when I
memory
was
will
2.
always
He was the
be-
best.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a great segue into challenges that we faced in parenthood and some of the challenges that we've overcome as well.
will you start?
Yeah. Well, the biggest challenge for me, even when I found out that I was pregnant, was the fact that I'd be raising a multiracial child and like learning what navigating that would look like. As a Black woman,
Same.
there's a lot of there are a lot of ideas on what Blackness means, as if it is a monolith, right? As if there's a singular culture and there's a singular way to do it. And like even today I get comments like, how can you say that you're a proud Black woman and you're married to a white man?
Yeah, half of those comments are from me. How dare, what a fraud over here.
As if the only way to be Black is to marry Black.
Like you need a chocolate daddy. That's what you need.
And so that was one fear of mine. And then like you of course, I'd heard stories about how difficult it was for mixed race children growing up, never feeling like they were, if they're black and white, for example, never feeling like they're black enough, never feeling like they're white enough, feeling like they don't fit in anywhere. And then finally for me, it was like, how do I also raise her to have black pride, to feel very proud to be a black woman? Because if there's a chance that she, her skin is not as deep as mine, for example, or like she comes out more your skin complexion, like how do I still raise her to say I'm proud and I'm black?
And will she still be able to say that word, right?
That was not, no. Was that a fear of yours?
I'm not allowed to say, I don't even think it, so.
Oh, good. And of course, like teaching our family how to navigate that, like your family, how do I make sure that they know that, they are raising a black grandchild as much as they're raising a white grandchild. Yeah. And my family, keep in mind that you're raising a white grandchild as much as you're raising a black one. Which
means she doesn't have to wash her hands before she eats dinner. That's not what that means at all. And she gets to talk back to you.
That's not what that means at all. If anything, it's like we make a lot of jokes like, well, white people, like you can't say that in front of my kid. I'm sorry.
But you
can
say it in front of me?
Oh, absolutely. Like you're grown. You should know and you should
To be fair, of any member of the family, I am making those jokes more than anybody else. So.
Yes, absolutely. So like, but my child does not need to hear that. My child needs to feel like she's welcome and she fits in with either side of the family. When she's older and can understand some of those nuances, then we can start making those jokes when she understands. But I don't ever want her to feel othered.
Roasting crackers, right? Not now. Gotta wait a little while.
Roasting. Okay. So some of the ways that I navigated that and learned, we read plenty of books. You always mention, what's that book that you always mention?
Could you grab it off the shelf?
You couldn't wait for the opportunity.
It's called The Mixed Race Experience because I always forget
what color is it?
Okay, so it's green and like a salmon or a pink, maybe a coral. The Mixed Race Experience. And bottom middle shelf, far left. Second book from the top, The Mixed Race Experience.
Oh.
Oh, you said salmon. Never mind.
Well, why is it with the white books, anyways?
Oh, it's right next to the Basic Economics and Capital in the 21st Century. What a long book. Yikaroo.
Kyle is coming over for the audience.
Dusty. Clearly you haven't read this one. This book's ashy.
Okay, so the book is called The Mixed Race Experience by Naomi and Natalie Evans.
Twins.
You went, oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. What's
I
your
haven't
summary?
read it. I just put it on my shelf so that people think.
Annoying. What's your summary?
So I've mentioned this book a few times, and the women who wrote it speak to a bunch of people who have mixed backgrounds. And I say it like that because a central tenet of the book is everybody is different, everybody is an individual, and we all have different lived experiences, and we all identify differently. And so they identify as mixed. I'm so dusty.
You are.
They identify as mixed race. Some people identify as biracial. Some people who are black and white identify only as black. Some people identify only as white. And so it's fascinating to hear the story of them growing up and how they approach raising children of their own.
Okay.
Who, if you're mixed race, for instance, which again is how they describe themselves, and they marry a partner of any race, unless that other person is also black and white like they are, you're going to have to approach that differently.
Right.
And even you were raised, right? So.
Wow. I've never even considered that.
Yeah. Maybe if you read a goddamn book once in a while.
The book that I read, I believe it's called Blacker the Berry, by a Canadian writer who's speaking specifically to the Canadian experience. So very similar to that book, and that he interviewed a bunch of mixed race identity people, but who were Canadian, who were living in Toronto, I think specifically, and speaking about like what it was like to go to school in Toronto, like go to post-secondary schools, so like university, navigating two worlds as a black and white man. But one of the most impactful resources for me was, is a doctor named Dr. Jennifer Noble, and her Instagram is actually @JenPsych, I believe. She shares a lot of webinars, a lot of like just quick information to like educate parents specifically of mixed race children. So she's taught me that very similar to what you were speaking about, you know, people of different backgrounds identifying differently, they can do it throughout their lives. So, and I think I've mentioned this on the show before during our interracial relationship episode, that like today Nia identifies as black and white. So if I tell her you're a black woman, she say, "Mommy, I'm black like you and I'm white like daddy." So today she identifies
Always black first.
Always black first. We make sure of this.
Same.
So today she's black and white, but in high school she may identify as black, for example, and then in university she may identify as white, and like she can switch identities throughout her life, and that's not wrong. That's just someone's journey.
Yeah.
And I think when I first started to learn about this, I felt challenged by that, because like to me, it's as a black woman, if I'm not raising someone who's proud to also be a black woman, that I've done something wrong, and it's just not about me. It's about her ability to navigate through the world and have her autonomy and discover herself.
100%. And it'll be such a fun journey. And I'm sure at some points it'll be a difficult journey because like you've just said, you're going to have to reckon with some uncomfortable truths and uncomfortable realizations. And it's going to be, I think, as much a discovery for you as it's going to be for her.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. And just accepting that, you know, I don't have her lived experiences. As much as I can teach her about my experiences navigating the world as a black woman, I will never understand hers as a black and white woman. Yeah. And shall we end on the note of any advice we have for either new parents, expecting parents?
Let me tell you something.
Oh boy.
You've thought about having a child, right? You've thought, it could be fun, could be a good time. You probably also had some insecurities. You're like, I don't know if this is for me. Maybe I'll do a bad job. And all of these are valid thoughts.
Sure.
And you should assume that you will at some points do a bad job.
Absolutely.
If you are not 10 out of 10 on board, excited, thrilled with the prospect of being a parent, do not have children. Because even if you are 10 out of 10 excited, there are still going to be times where you are going to regret this more than any decision you've ever made.
Sure.
But at least you're 10 out of 10 excited, and you've got like a baseline level of possible success. But if you're like,
okay,
I'm only a 7 on this, know that you'll be even more disappointed. So like, this isn't, I'm gonna foster a puppy for a little while. This isn't like, I'm gonna take up smoking. I'm gonna smoke some brisket in the backyard. You know how long it takes to smoke brisket? Long time.
My love, I gotta tell you, I disagree.
It takes like 8 hours. That's a long time.
Yeah, it takes long to smoke brisket. I disagree.
I'm not done. You think 8 hours is a long time? For what? Piece of meat? Bro, a kid takes like 20 years. Now you may go.
I was not 10 out of 10 excited. Were you 10 out of 10 excited?
Yes.
You didn't have to carry her. I was 6 out of 10 excited, 10 out of 10 scared, 11 out of 10 convinced I was going to ruin all of our lives. My life, your life, her life.
That one did bear out.
Okay. But I don't think that you're ever going to be 100%. It's very rare in life that you're ever coming to a decision where you're like, oh yeah, this is the right choice. Even when we were engaged, for example, did you ever have doubts? Like maybe this is not the right time. Maybe I'm jumping into this too soon. Am I making the right decision? Did you ever have doubts?
Yes, but you need a sustained period. Wait, like marrying you? No.
Who else did you marry?
That was like I didn't know if you were talking about in getting engaged to you or like when we were like engaged, the prospect of having a child.
Yeah.
We were also engaged for like 9 days.
Sure.
So, you know. But yeah, I mean, there were points before you got pregnant where I was like, I don't know. And also points we decided we didn't want a child.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
But then it was like, no, we made the decision. And I'm like, yeah, I'm 10 out of 10 on board. I'm excited for this. This is going to be awesome. Then you got pregnant. And I was like, I'm going to have to keep up this charade forever. And years from now, when we're on a podcast together, I'm going to have to maintain it even then. So, you know, there's that.
I'm thinking that it's okay to decide you don't want kids, and that no one should pressure anyone. Nobody's parent should be pressuring them. Nobody's friend should be pressuring them. It's okay to not want kids. If that's the decision,
100%.
Or if you're saying that's the decision right now, maybe I'll change it in the future. That's valid too. That's fine. But to say I'm not 100% sure about something, therefore I won't ever do it, that's just a bit of an overstatement. There are very few things in life that I'm 100% about.
You 100% about me?
Today, yes.
That's rude.
Kyle, what are you writing?
Yeah, he's just like typing a million different questions here. Can I chime in about being an unsure parent? No, you can't.
Oh,
I have another point to make.
There's so much. No, I'm going to chime in anyway.
No. I have a point I need to make first. What is the deal?
The attitude? I know.
Clickety, clackety, clickety, clackety. Good Lord. What was my point going to be? Oh, my God. My point was going to be, to the no pressuring people.
Yeah.
Don't pressure your kids to have kids.
Don't pressure your kids to have
also,
kids. That's so annoying.
Don't
do
pressure
that.
your kids to have another kid. Oh, she needs a sibling. And it's not just parents, it's everybody. Oh, she needs a sibling. She needs to have somebody to play with.
Don't comment on
What?
people's content and say, when are you giving her a sibling? When are you having another kid? It's time for another. First of all, you know nothing about our timeline. You know nothing about my reproductive system. You know nothing about his reproductive system. That is weird behavior. Do not comment on people's vaginas and uteruses on the internet. It is very odd behavior. You have no idea.
Unless it's Pornhub and you're commenting something and it's nice.
Only nice things.
Killer labia. All right, Kyle, what do you got?
So I think as like an unsure parent myself, like someone who can't decide if I ever want kids, or some days I'm like, I don't even want to even think of having children.
Sure.
I think it's important to remember that regardless of where you think you are in your life or how well off you are or anything like that, I think being a parent, you're always going to doubt yourself. You're always going to doubt what you can and can't do. But the important thing is to just like try your best, right? Like I think with social media and pressure from families and outside sources everything like that, there's too much pressure to be like, you have to raise your child this way.
Yeah.
Or if you don't do this certain thing with your kid or parenting style, then you're a bad parent. And then it makes you think like the same thing. So I think we just have to remember it's going to be tough, and there's going to be like moments where you're really going to be like, why am I doing this?
Why did I do this? Absolutely.
But you'll look back, like definitely look back when you're older and be like, we tried, and that's all that matters, I think.
That is true, but it's also so important to like be okay with saying I'm not the right person to become a parent.
Yeah.
Like it's okay. It's okay to change your mind, and it's okay to have your mind made up. On your points about like social media as a parent, Bella, who you used to work with, she had a kid a couple years before us. And when I was pregnant, her advice to you, she said, tell Dom to get on Facebook, join one of these mom groups, because I had Nia she was due in 2020. So find a mom group or a parent group about babies due February 2020.
Right. So you're all experiencing similar milestones.
Exactly. I do not recommend you do that. Do not do that, because
Facebook mom groups? What?
Oh my goodness. So
just find one that says no drama.
Oh, especially those ones. So the milestones that you're going through often aren't happening at the same time. There were trigger warning for this point. If you want to skip forward, cool. There were miscarriages happening.
Jesus Christ.
It was frightening to witness as we were all at the same point in our pregnancies. Diagnoses were coming out. Like, it was just a lot to witness. And then as we all started having our babies, or, those who stayed in the group and were having their babies, then it was a matter of just sharing a lot of misinformation. So it was, don't let your baby do this, because statistically, it was just a lot of fear mongering at the end of the day. And they were sharing a lot of misinformation.
Yeah.
And then it just felt like I couldn't make a move. I couldn't make a decision for my own child without checking in with this group. And like you're mentioning
You're like,
before,
will this make her gay? Ew.
I think you're mentioning it before about like feeling stifled, feeling like unable to make a decision.
Yes, I spoke about this in our last episode about specifically with resumes.
Yes.
I can't. I need to like run this past 15 different people before I can just like make a move. Now there's making like educated, informed decisions when it comes to like, hey, what does my pediatrician say?
Exactly.
What does a board certified physician say?
Right.
Versus like, oh, what does Kelly in Lincoln, Nebraska think about this?
Exactly. So it was a matter of like, yes, there are truths that come from pediatricians and from doctors who have studied this for years about like safe sleeping positions, like how to safely introduce solids and like stuff like that, that comes from medical research. And then there's just a matter of don't eat these type of lactate cookies because it will poison your breast milk and then your kid will die. Like just ridiculous things like that just kept me up at night. And I felt like I wasn't raising my child. I was raising Facebook's child and they were making all the decisions for me. So like new parents, especially for y'all with whatever, it's a very fearful time, a very anxiety induced time. Get off the internet and talk to actual professionals who know what they're doing.
Yeah, have a support system of people you can trust.
Yes.
Smart people.
Not even like recent, like I'm not even a recent enough parent to give you advice. I'm sorry, I'm 4 years out. You know what I mean? I don't remember what that time was like.
Your battle is no longer my battle.
No, but find those, deadass. But find those who are like actually educated in that. And then finally, my advice for those who are considering, before you make the decision, make sure you have the right partner. Because that is going to make all the difference. Make sure you are values aligned, because you were talking earlier about you got to be a united front.
Yeah.
When we're in front of Nia, we need to understand, how do we fight? Like if we're in an argument,
clothed,
we're not gonna.
We got another person in the house now.
Absolutely. Well, we gotta agree. Like we're in a fight, but like time out because we're in front of Nia now. We're not arguing in front of her. Or like when it comes to like moral values and like you mentioned religion, I wanted her to get dedicated at church or christened. You were against it, but you're like, I understand that it's less important to me than it is to you.
And also, like, if I don't believe in it, what harm, right?
Make sure your values aligned.
Yeah.
So we get into pillow talk?
Let's do it. This is the part of the program. That's PROGRAMME program. Sounds fancier. Okay. Where we get, it's weird, we're having a conversation about parenting and it's weird to transition into something a little sexual.
It's not sexier. It's just a little bit more intimate because it didn't feel like the appropriate episode to have a sexier question.
But like that is how you make a child, right?
Yeah, but we don't want to transition from Nia to...
No, oh my God, no.
No. Or your kid. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Okay, the pillow talk question this week is, what is a trait of your parents or of your upbringing that you're proud of and are excited to pass on to Nia?
My family said I love you a lot and still does.
Oh.
And I like that. And I think it's important to remind each other that you love each other. And also, we did a lot of like things together. Mm-hmm. I think that's good too, to do things together. Mm-hmm. And ironically, there were like 15 of you growing up in that house. Didn't do a whole lot of stuff together.
No, we did
massive age range.
Yeah.
Your mom had 9 jobs.
Yeah.
So
we're still always very much together.
Routinely left at home alone. So
I don't know why you put it like that. I was not routinely left at home alone.
Story's changing all of a sudden. So
I couldn't always afford summer camp, and if summer camp was done for the summer, then there was still a month left of summer. I would be home. Yeah.
Doing what? Like
watching
all day?
Family Channel. Yeah.
How old were you?
No, this is getting into a weird thing where you're trying to shit on my mom. It feels like no,
I'm not.
We couldn't afford, or there was like a week or a month left of summer, and summer camp was done. So I stayed home and watched TV because she was at work, and all my other sisters were at work too.
Why are you taking this as me dumping on your mom, which is not my intention?
No, because you're like, she would routinely leave you at home.
I didn't say she.
Like,
I said you were routinely left at home. I didn't call
who
out
else
anybody.
is there to leave me?
So who are you blaming then? Don't dump this on me.
Damn.
That's inside of you. That's projection. She's still looking at me, guys, or?
I tread carefully.
I'll tell you what I like about you, and it's everything. Damn, look at you.
What was the question?
A trait of your parents that you really liked and that you want to pass on to your child.
My parents made...
You.
Period. My parents made music and just Caribbean culture a large part of our just day to day. And so what I'm really trying to pass down to Nia is like
cultural pride.
Cultural pride, 100%.
I like that that's big in our house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like when on culture day at daycare, she's really excited to like get her Grenada flag or put on her like her mass headpiece, and like play soca music, and she's gonna play in Kitty's Carnival this year. I just grew up really proud to be Black. I knew from a very young age, especially growing up in like mostly white schools, for example, I knew from a very young age that I was different. But I knew it wasn't a bad thing, that I was special, if anything.
I wish that I had more Black pride growing up. And I'm glad that I have it now. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Pinky high five. You giving me a high five with your pinky. Boop. Thank you.
Let's get into Mailbox. Mailbox is a portion of the show when we read one of your listener questions. You can submit a question at playinghousepod.com through audio, or you can email in your question at info@playinghousepod.com.
And we'll also tackle comments, concerns, maybe.
We don't want those. We don't want those. We only want praising questions.
You know what? Straight up. Straight up. But your hate fuels me, so you can DM me privately about that. This one is from Evan A. Bowen.
Shout out to Evan.
Who says, thanks for being the relationship my girlfriend points at and says, ew, to. No, just kidding.
Not what it says.
She says, ew. No, she says, that's going to be us, and it has me hopeful for the future. Shout out to you, Evan A. Bowen.
Beautiful.
Yeah, isn't that great? Did you grab your titty? Can I grab it too?
My chest.
Please?
Listen, thank you for that. Be wary of putting people on the internet on a pedestal.
Other people, you mean? Because we're good. We're great.
As you witness, we get into disagreements, and we're human, and we work through our stuff, and like that's important. But it's especially important to be realistic and to not. What?
Can you clap your thigh again?
Did I clap my thigh?
Yeah, because that's what I'm trying to do later. Warm them up for me.
Thank you for the question. Is this a question?
It's praise.
Thank you for the praise. Please send more. And check us out again next week on Monday. We are back every Monday with a new episode for you. Please follow this man here.
Where can people find me? Where can you find me?
You know what? Never mind. I don't know why he's interrupting my
Kolter
sentences.
Talks everywhere.
And you can follow me at dom.creates on Instagram and at domcreates on TikTok and YouTube. You can send us in your listener question, letter, happy mail, I don't know, at our PO box, which is going to be seen right here.
That's what I'm trying to make.
And we'll be back next week. Please subscribe. Let us know in the comments if you have any perspective on this topic that we've been discussing today. And we look forward to reading it.
And tell this woman how beautiful she is.
Please do. Sometimes I need it.
Damn.
You're beautiful too.
I love you. Bye.